In the middle of the Indian Ocean lies a small island that once held one of the strangest birds the world had ever seen. A creature that could not fly, that feared no predators, and that would eventually become the symbol of extinction itself. This is the story of the dodo. For centuries, the dodo has been remembered as a symbol of extinction, mocked as clumsy, foolish, and doomed. But the real story is far more complex. The dodo was not weak. It was not unintelligent. It was a species perfectly shaped by evolution for its environment. Its extinction was not inevitable. It was sudden, violent, and directly tied to human activity. To understand the dodo, we must travel back millions of years, long before humans ever set foot on Mauritius. The island itself was formed by volcanic activity deep beneath the ocean. Rising from the sea, it became a remote and isolated ecosystem. There were no large land predators, no humans, only forests, rivers, coastal plains, and life slowly finding its way to the island. At some point in the distant past, a flock of pigeons was blown off course during a storm. These birds landed on Mauritius and stayed. Over generations, isolation began shaping them. Without predators to escape from, the ability to fly became less important. Wings gradually shrank. Bodies became heavier. Legs grew stronger for walking. This is how evolution works. Not towards strength or intelligence, but towards survival within a specific environment. Over thousands of years, these pigeons transformed into a new species, the dodo. Scientifically known as Rhapis cucullatus, the dodo was a flightless bird, about 1 meter tall, weighing up to 20 kilograms. It had a large hooked beak, small wings, sturdy legs, and a rounded body covered in gray feathers. Despite its unusual appearance, the dodo was not primitive. It was highly specialized, the result of generations of adaptation to a peaceful island ecosystem. Mauritius provided everything the dodo needed to survive. The island's forests were rich with fruiting trees, seeds, nuts, and vegetation. Freshwater streams crossed the landscape. The climate was warm and stable. The dodo likely spent its days foraging on the forest floor. It ate fallen fruits, seeds, bulbs, and possibly small invertebrates. Its large beak allowed it to break open tough food sources. Its strong legs helped it travel long distances through dense terrain. Some scientists believe the dodo played a crucial ecological role. By eating fruits and dispersing seeds through its droppings, it helped maintain forest growth. In this way, the bird was not just part of the environment, it helped shape it. The dodo had no need for speed or fear. There were no predators stalking the forests, no threats hiding in the undergrowth. It nested on the ground, likely laying a single egg at a time. Parents would guard their nests, but they evolved without defensive instincts against large attackers. Its calm behavior wasn't stupidity. It was a reflection of safety. The dodo lived in a world where survival did not depend on flight or aggression. Energy could be spent on growth, feeding, and reproduction rather than escape. For thousands of years, This balance held. Then humans arrived. In the late 1500s, European sailors began exploring new trade routes across the Indian Ocean. Mauritius became a stopping point for ships. The island was uninhabited by people, making it valuable for supplies and settlement. When sailors first encountered the dodo, they were astonished. Here was a large bird that did not run away. It allowed humans to approach closely. Some even described it as curious, but misunderstanding began immediately. Early accounts portrayed the dodo as awkward and foolish. Its walk appeared slow. Its body seemed heavy. To sailors used to quick, wary animals, the dodo seemed defenseless. In reality, the dodo had never evolved alongside humans. It had no instinct to fear them, and this lack of fear would prove fatal. At first, humans hunted the dodo for food. It was easy to capture, often requiring little effort. Some sailors claimed its meat was tough or unpleasant, but in an unfamiliar land, it became a convenient source of nourishment. However, hunting alone did not destroy the species. The true devastation came from what humans brought with them. Ships carried rats, pigs, dogs, cats, and monkeys. These animals spread quickly across Mauritius. For the first time in its evolutionary history, the dodo faced predators. Ground nests became easy targets. Eggs were eaten by rats and pigs. Chicks were hunted by dogs and cats. Adult dodos, slow and unafraid, were vulnerable. At the same time, humans began altering the island itself. Forests were cleared for settlements and agriculture. Natural habitats were disrupted. Food sources changed. The dodo had evolved over thousands of years in a stable environment. Now, everything changed in a matter of decades. Evolution could not keep up. By the early 1600s, dodo populations were declining rapidly. Reports of sightings became less frequent. Sailors who once described them as common began noting their disappearance. Within less than a century of human arrival, the dodo was gone. The last confirmed sightings occurred in the late 1600s. After that, there were no reliable records. No living birds, no nests, no calls echoing through the forests. Extinction had taken place, quickly and permanently. For years after its disappearance, the dodo lived on only in stories, sketches, and paintings. Many illustrations were inaccurate, based on brief observations or preserved specimens. These images shaped public perception, turning the dodo into a symbol of failure. Its extinction was not due to weakness. It was the result of rapid environmental disruption. In the 1800s and 1900s, scientists began uncovering fossil remains in Mauritius. Bones, skull fragments, and preserved specimens allowed researchers to reconstruct the dodo's anatomy. DNA analysis confirmed its closest relatives were pigeons and doves, a surprising connection that highlighted its evolutionary journey. The dodo was not an evolutionary dead end. It was a specialized branch of a successful bird family. Its disappearance also affected the island ecosystem. Some plant species relied on animals like the dodo for seed dispersal. Without it, ecological relationships shifted. The balance that had existed for thousands of years was altered. The dodo became one of the first recorded extinctions clearly linked to human activity. It transformed into a global symbol, a warning of what happens when ecosystems are disrupted faster than species can adapt. Since then, many animals have followed a similar path. The passenger pigeon, the Tasmanian tiger, numerous amphibians, insects, and birds. The pattern is clear. Human arrival often brings change faster than nature can respond. Today, the dodo's story continues to influence science and conservation. It reminds researchers that extinction is not always slow. It can happen within a single human lifetime. Modern genetic technology has even raised the possibility of de-extinction. Scientists have explored whether DNA from preserved remains could be used to recreate a dodo-like bird using its closest living relatives, such as pigeons. But this idea raises difficult questions. If the dodo returned, where would it live? Could Mauritius support it again? Would it survive in an environment already transformed by humans? De-extinction is not just a scientific challenge. It is an ethical one. Today, millions of species face similar threats. Forests continue to disappear. Oceans are changing. New species are introduced into ecosystems that are not prepared for them. The dodo stands as a reminder of what happens when change comes too fast. It was not the weakest species. It was simply unprepared for a new world. The lesson of the dodo is not about a bird that failed to survive. It is about a world that changed faster than life could adapt. And the question it leaves behind is not just what happened to the dodo, but how many more species will follow the same path if history continues to repeat itself.